people ask about how to get started in real estate, one of the most common answers is wholesaling. And I think that's a garbage answer. And I'll tell you why. Wholesaling is probably one of the hardest damn jobs in the business. I say that because you have a lot of moving parts and pieces that have to come together and align in order to be able to wholesale a house. When you break it down, you think about it. So you have to know marketing. You have to be able to market to get people's attention, sellers, distressed sellers' attention. So you have to market for sellers to get people to call you to want to sell you your house. So not only do you have to get people to call you that want to sell you their house, you have to go out and negotiate a contract and get it under contract at a price that you can turn around and sell it to somebody else. Now, part of this process, whenever you're figuring out what to pay somebody for their house, you need to figure out how much money it's going to take to get it fixed. Like, how much is the remodel? You know, it's worth ARV minus repairs minus profit margin, and this is what you can pay for it. So, you know, how do you know what those repairs are? So you have to be able to market and talk to sellers. Then you have to know a basic enough understanding of construction and remodel costs to know what a acceptable budget is. And now, pro tip here, guys, I can tell you from experience, when I get emails from these out-of-state wholesalers or these new guys that are saying that we have a $10,000 remodel or $18,000 remodel, it's not a realistic number, and we don't believe you, and we just delete it. We don't call you, we don't read the email. Like, if you give me some bullshit number, ridiculously low remodel number, because you don't think it's going to take that much to fix, I'm not going to bother looking anymore at it. Anyway, back to it. So to wholesale, you got to market and talk to sellers and convince them to sell you your house at a discount. You have to understand and know what remodel costs are involved, so you can accurately portray that information to a seller. So now it gets more fun. You also have to market and talk to buyers. So not only you have to market with the sellers, which is one demographic, now you got to deal with buyers. And when you're talking about people who are buying wholesale deals, it's investors, and most investors are like us. We're in it to make money. We're in it to make a deal. So our job going into it is to get it for as little as possible while you're trying to make as much as you can. So when you put these pieces together, you have to hope that you put numbers together on the front side that you are buying it cheap enough to account for how much it costs to fix it, to sell it to that guy so he can still fix it and make money. So there's a lot of moving pieces, and then you get to today. Just today, for example, we do have a house that we're wholesaling. We had to get the tenants out. We get the tenants out yesterday. We go back in for an inspection today. Guess what the tenants did? I kid you not. We counted no less than 50 holes in the drywall where they punched and kicked the walls as in retaliation for us kicking them out of the house. I mean, they were nice enough people, but now the buyers go in there for their walkthrough and they're asking to renegotiate the price. They want a discount because the tenants damaged the house. Like, we're supposed to close tomorrow, and now we're renegotiating the price because of damages. Like, that's an unforeseen circumstances. So I say the moon and the stars have to align to be able to really make money wholesaling. Now, and the second thing is, okay, so and I don't know if you've ever wholesaled a house or if you've ever marketed to the sellers. It's not free. It's either time consuming because you're personally spending the time driving around, looking, identifying, and getting a hold of people, or B, you're paying marketing costs. So you can spend a lot of money on marketing, and if you don't have the right ingredients, when I say the right ingredients, you know, the skill set to talk to people and convince them to sell your house, the skill set to be able to get an accurate representation of what the remodel is, and then the skill set to negotiate and sell the property. Like, you're putting in a lot of work for a one-time wholesale fee. Like, I wholesaled a few houses in the beginning, and we do it now because we buy more houses than what we can actually work on. But it's so much easier to buy a house and flip it, or buy a house and rent it. It's easier for you to go get money for this deal than it is to try to put together a deal for a wholesale fee. Does that make any sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. So this house is a house that we have wholesaled. We're talking about, you know, trying to keep the deals together and how many moving parts are involved. in this case, we had an out-of-state seller, and they came. We bought the house at a discounted rate. It came with tenants who weren't paying, so we had to go through the eviction process or removal process. So we had to get the people out. And then on the other side of this, we have our cash buyers who are anxious to buy the property and pushing to get to closing. And meanwhile, we're struggling to get these people out. So we finally did get these people out. And let's go inside and see what they left us. Just right off the bat, we left the yard in great shape. So it's a little dirty. I don't think it's all that bad. So, I mean, it definitely knocked some holes in the wall. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Left the couch. Oh, that's cute. Picture of the cat.
Got a nice Casio keyboard over there.
Yeah. So there's a couple dozen holes in the wall. And, that definitely wasn't an accident. X marks the spot. I wonder if we dig, if we find something funny. I mean, for eviction, they left the pickles. It was nice of them. Busted some plates. So, I mean, it's this kind of stuff that you don't necessarily think or expect whenever you're wholesaling. You're trying to get, trying to move houses. And, you have the people who are being forced out that don't want to leave, and you have the people who are buying the house that are expecting. They walk through the house with the tenants here. They saw what it was. It's not significantly worse. But yet they're trying to use that as a renegotiation tool. So like we're up to the wire. We're scheduled to close tomorrow, and they're asking for a price reduction based on the damages done to the property. So this is just an example of how fluid things are in real estate. Because even though it's a static physical asset, there are conditions that change rapidly, and even up until the day of closing, until the check clears. And then the deal's never done until the check clears. So just a word of caution: don't ever count your chickens before they hatch. We had a deal. We had a sales contract with expectations, and the expectations have changed. And you just have to be prepared to deal with stuff like that. Hey. It's not.
You over there?
It's not that bad. I mean,
Okay.
there's a couple dozen holes. I mean, they're not terrible. They're like little fist size, and they're spread out through the house. I'm not convinced that some of these weren't here. This floor was fucked before, and yeah, they did like mark an X like
On the window?
They did. That one, the back window was busted, but like the floor, they did cut it with like a box cutter, but this floor wasn't salvageable to begin with, so I don't. That should have been in their budget. We have $1,000, maybe $2,000 in sheetrock repair.
Yeah.
So, what do you think?
I still think that you should be bringing this up to the seller.
Oh, it's been brought up to the seller, and she's going to walk. She's not taking any less. So now that we've solved her problem, and the people are gone, she's willing to sell it to somebody else for more.
Okay.
So, I agree that there's a couple $1,000s worth of damage. I don't think there's $4,000 more than they should have been anticipating.
Okay.
So now I'm willing to give a couple, and I don't know what your input is or what your thought is. I mean, you're definitely making the most off this transaction, especially now.
Yeah.
Because you're at 2 and 5, so that's like $8,400.
Yeah. And I'll talk to Marcy and see what we maybe they can just settle like on 3.
So I mean, I'll give 2, maybe 25 on my side. So there's $1,500 gap that needs, because I think I can get this cleaned up in a few hours and sell it for more if they don't.
Okay, I'll tell them that, and I'll let them know what the seller said too. I'll let you know. I mean, I don't think they're gonna walk from it. I mean, they're trying to close tomorrow also.
Right, I understand. So. I'd rather close tomorrow, but
I'd rather close tomorrow.
I'd rather close tomorrow, and it's in my interest to close tomorrow. But I also I don't agree with their number, and I'm not going to be bullied.
Yeah, I agree.
I'll compromise, but
yeah. No, I think we're compromising. I think you're compromising as much as you should. So I think they're just being, I don't know.
They're dramatic. I mean, and I also understand homeowners have a different perspective than investors. Like,
sure.
There's holes in the wall. It's $500 worth of mud.
Right.
It's not like they destroyed it. Now the window's busted. Okay, replace the windows, a few $100s.
Yeah. And he's saying that too. He's like, I understand, but it's the client, it's not him. He's like, I priced it all out. $1,000 for a couple thousand for the holes, $300, $400 for the window, and then the flooring. I don't know what he's.
There's no way that they were going to salvage that flooring from the beginning.
But yeah, that's what I had said. I said that floor was tough to begin with.
I'll agree to the couple thousand on the sheetrock and up to $500 on the window. So there's my $2,500. Take it or leave it.
Okay.
Now, if you want to pitch in on top of that, I ain't gonna stop you, but that's my stance.
Okay, I'll call him now and I'll fix it.
Okay, let me know.
Okay, bye.
Trying to negotiate. So we got this house. We do a lot of direct mail. From a marketing standpoint, we've done Google AdWords, we run Facebook ads, we run direct mail, we've done TV, we've done radio commercials, we've done billboards. My favorite is still direct mail. And we mailed a direct mail piece, and it was an out-of-state seller. She gave us a call. The tenants had been here for a while, hadn't been paying her. She is out of state and getting older and not in great health, so she needed to get rid of the house. We made a deal on the house. I think originally we were going to pay $150 for the house. Once we got the contract, we got access to the tenants. We walked through and found out there was more damage or more foundation work needed. Not necessarily damage, but it needed more work than what we had originally anticipated from our drive-by. So we renegotiated and we got a $10,000 price reduction. So we are in this house for $140,000. Now we are selling it, and we're wholesaling it, or hoteling it, I guess you could say, because we are selling it to a owner-occupant cash buyer. So we're selling it to an end user. We're not selling it to another investor, but we do have real estate agents involved. So we are selling it to them for $170. We're paying the commissions. Our gross margin on this deal would be about roughly $20,000, depending on how the acceptance of that negotiation of the price reduction is handled. But we're still made $18,000 to $20,000 on this house. And it cost us, our mailing, our marketing cost. We had an extra 30 days of getting the tenant out. But now the tenant's out, we'll get through this hump of negotiating the price reduction on the buyer side, and then we'll close this transaction tomorrow. So it's a pretty quick and easy wholesale deal. I say quick and easy, I mean it was not quick and easy. To sum up this deal, it took a little bit longer than a normal wholesale deal because we had to go through the effort and the time to get out the tenant. It was a little bit more rocky at the end because the tenants did more damage to the house than what we had originally anticipated, and the buyer wasn't happy about it and asked for a price reduction. So we had some last minute negotiations. But still, at the end of the day, on a 90-day transaction, without actually having to take possession of the house or put any of our own money into it, we were still able to net about $20,000 on a wholesale fee.